Dude. Fish on.
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
RowPaint.com is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. It's Coach Leon Rice and Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Tuesday to you here at Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. We're back from Vegas and ready to go here. A new week and turning our attention, as we did yesterday, this week to basketball here as we kind of have a lull in the football schedule before they get going with practice here in a couple weeks. And the TBT team is in town. A lot of guys that Jay and I have covered. And it was fun going down memory lane, watching them practice yesterday and thinking about some of the games and moments that a lot of these guys had. And Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB, Tuesdays with Tust, man. Happy Tuesday, and I hope you're doing well, man.
Yeah, I am doing well, actually.
Where's the arm? Let's see it. Let's see it.
Went to the doctor yesterday. No more brace.
Let's go.
So, yeah, yesterday afternoon had my first physical therapy sesh, and we are back on the road to recovery. And I don't got to wear that stupid, god-awful brace anymore. So
how long till, the little ones wanted to jump right into your arms there?
Still a little ways away from that, but I think we're looking at like 4 to 6 weeks before we could probably get back onto that. But at least I can, hold a bottle of water now with my left arm. So that's big time. Big time.
I'm guessing you're in the same boat, but I mean, we have young kids and we both work. Like I was not John Mallory and rushed to buy NCAA, whatever it's called, college football 25. A lot of people have been asking my thoughts on the game. I hope maybe next week at some point, I with this week going on, I know folks don't care about our personal lives and problems, but I do the Lindy's magazine stuff, as I said, and I've literally got 30 stories to do, and they're due like next Wednesday. And so I'm literally waking up at 6 a.m., starting to write, stopping for the show, interviewing coaches, writing all day, and then going to bed at midnight and doing it again like all week this week. So Johnny texted me at like 3 o'clock, you playing the game? And I was just like, I'm like, I hope you're kidding, dude. Like, no, I'm not playing the game. I've seen some clips of it. It looks cool. My kids are actually out of town right now in part, so I can lock down and get all this Lindy stuff done. And when we get back from St. Louis next week, I may, because I'm going this weekend for a few days, we'll probably end up buying the game because my kids will want to play it and I'll play some with them. But no, I'm not able to just sit there and play video games. But with that said, from what I've heard and seen and folks sending me stuff, It looks pretty cool, and they've got the Fiesta Bowl banner in there at Albertson Stadium. They've got the what do you call it on third down? They've got the bell. They've got the siren when they score a touchdown. I don't know what you've noticed or seen or heard from people, but it'll never be perfect. But it looks like at Albertson Stadium they did a pretty good job of getting that getting it looking right.
Yeah, I'm not fortunate enough to have time or the I mean, heck, I don't even have the game console like right now, so it might be a minute before I convince my wife to let me get that. But yeah, there's not enough time.
I would love to hear that conversation.
There's not enough time in the day to play video games.
To hear that conversation.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try to maybe go over to a buddy's or something here in the near future.
You're welcome here anytime, man. You're welcome here anytime.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll maybe that's going to have to be the route for now. But once the kids get a little older, I'm really counting on Brooks. Once he maybe in another couple of years, he's going to probably want something like that. So probably another few years, but whatever.
Uncle Jay is welcome anytime. I'm sure Naismith would love to try to take you down in
perfect
NCAA. But I keep calling it that. That's just college football 25 or whatever.
I know it's new. It does look awesome, and it is cool that it's back, and it's awesome for the players, and it's great for the fans. You know what it wasn't probably great for? The MLB Home Run Derby last night.
No joke. I actually had that on me. Yeah. I didn't even turn it on until like they were already in the semifinals. I used to love that thing, man.
Oh, it used to be the highlight of the summer. Like, especially when Griffin was in it when I was a kid, you look forward to the Home Run Derby all summer.
And some of the rules, when McGuire was in it, and then back in the day, like the one he had at Fenway Park, and then Ken Griffey Jr., man, like I was actually at the Home Run Derby when he hit it off the warehouse in Baltimore.
No kidding.
I was like 5 or 6 or whatever. What year was that?
That would have been 93.
Okay, I was 8. Yeah. Yeah. When my dad worked for USA Today, we lived in Washington, D.C. area, and that was in Baltimore. And I remember I went to that one. I went to the one, I believe, in Pittsburgh. Got to go to a few. I think San Diego. Got to go to a few ones when I was really little.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard the national anthem was something to. Maybe wasn't glad I missed it.
I didn't get to. I wasn't tuned in for that, and I heard about it, but it really wasn't worth the effort to try to seek it out, in my opinion. It actually was a decent home run derby. Like, it really came down to the final swing.
Yeah.
It won about 408, and he needed to go 410 to force a swing off. I can't help but recognize who did win it, and that was Teoscar Hernandez, a guy that the Mariners didn't want to pay in the offseason. So now he is playing on arguably the best team in baseball, is an all-star on arguably the best team in baseball, and won the home run derby. So well done, Mariners. We didn't need him in his offense because we just got so much of that.
This is the Cardinals only have one all-star this year, and it's a pitcher who already said he wasn't going to pitch. So it's like, why I'm not watching tonight, bro. I hate saying that, but I might watch a little bit. But Paul Skeens against Juan Soto or against Aaron Judge, maybe in the first inning there. But it's just not quite the same. They wear these dumb all-star uniforms now too. It's like, where your actual team. That was what I always loved, was on the all-star game, seeing somebody with the Cardinals uniform come running out there. And now it's just they do that for the minor. I don't know if they still do that. Hopefully they don't, where they wear the weird American national uniforms and don't wear the actual team jerseys. But anyway, yes, NCAA game is awesome. Jordan says the horse sound, I guess, on third down as well, and the Boise State side to side also pretty amazing. You know what? I do have a 30-second clip. I don't know. Are we allowed to play stuff from the game on? Why not? Right?
Yeah, sure. It's all over the internet. Why not?
Colin Mitchell sent me a clip yesterday. Of course, he sends me the one of him with a pick six, I believe, with Jonathan Irby. But I will put that in here in a second while we're talking so I can play it. But a lot going on, and that game is pretty cool. And you know what I also thought about in terms of years and stuff has progressed? Never before, Jay, at least when I used to buy video games, could you just download it. You had to go buy it. And they would never have something like this. If you didn't order it weeks in advance, you never would have got it. And so I actually thought that was the case on this one. I was like, oh, there's no way that I'm going to be able to, get this game for the next 3 weeks or whatever. And then you just go online and download it, I guess. But no, I do not own the game. My kids may want it. Maybe we'll have it in a couple weeks here. All right. This is how fast I work. Here you go, Jay. Here is a pick six, I believe, by Jonathan. And this is a third down. And I always say Jeremiah Irby, pick on third down. Here we go.
He's trying to do it all by himself. At the end of the day, it's a tackle for him.
I mean, the number of tackles he broke, at some point, somebody's got to get blocked to help the guy out a little bit.
Man, the defense was like a bunch of zombies on that last play. They just would not stop chasing that ball carrier.
Fires into traffic, intercepted. Taking it the other way. Running inside the 20. Touchdown, Boise State. And this defense coming up with points of their own.
There you go. You heard the siren in there. You heard the horse on third down as well.
The cannon?
So, yeah. That was pretty realistic. That was not bad. But of course, I have not heard. Apparently, the T-Dog's not in there.
Oh, that one was one that had to be in there. I feel like that maybe they just don't do. I know they do animals though. They have like the Ralphie at Colorado and the whatever they do at Oklahoma. They could have had the T-Dog. What the heck?
Robbie Robinson says Jeremiah versus Jonathan Irby is BJ's version of Jay's on mute. I am really going to try this year, folks. I don't know why, and I apologize to Jeremiah Irby and his family that I continue to say Jonathan. It ticks me off.
Yeah, I'm excited for once I finally get into the game. The ratings, I saw the top 10. Ashton Genty's only like a 75 strength, despite the fact the dude's like 5'9", benches 375 and squats 605. So yes. Maybe that'll be on an update where they boost that a little bit. And then I think Andrew Simpson, I think that's like out of the top 10 Boise State guys, they have 10 guys rated 80 or better. Only Ashton Genty is 90 or better. I would say that Andrew Simpson is the one that I would take a little bit of an exception with because he's an 81 and he had 16 tackles for loss last year, 6 sacks. I really felt like he could have been like at least like an 84, 85. Not a huge difference, but I feel like he should have at least been in that range.
So what? I mean, this is maybe this has been covered, and this is a dumb question, but how do they come? Do they actually talk to the coaches or the SID or like how do they actually get? Yeah, in terms of the speed and the strength and all. I mean, are they actually talking to the strength coach about who should be the stronger players on the team?
I think they just I think they just somehow do all the research themselves and throw it in there, and hopefully it's close enough. But even like Andrew was like his attribute or whatever as a linebacker was pass coverage, and Andrew's decent at dropping into pass coverage, but he was more known as a pass rusher, especially over the last half of last season where. He was in those situations more than most I believe more than any linebacker in the Mountain West Conference in terms of trying to get after the quarterback. So, there are little things like that. They can't bat 1,000, but out of the top 10, that was probably the one that I was like, that could be a little bit higher. I will say this though, the cool thing about video games these days, BJ, God, how old are we? You mentioned you download them. Well, that means there's also in-season updates. So as these guys perform in real time, their ratings will, fluctuate. It's not like when we just got the old CD, popped it in, and that was what you got. So it's a little different.
See, we can't afford the 2024 versions of these games usually in the Reigns household. So my kids are still playing 2021 MLB The Show. And I just assume there'd be a way to update the rosters. I'm like, why? Because they're talking about, this guy's on this team. And I'm like, can't you just download new rosters but still play on an old game? I don't guess they're not doing that right, or you can't do that. I don't know. But yeah, that'll be cool. That speaking of which, only 50 mascots right now. Jordan says they're in the game. Max says Buster's supposed to be added very soon. So I guess some of that stuff couldn't get ironed out or finalized, and they will they'll do that. So have fun, enjoy the game, and maybe we'll get a BNN Dynasty League going at some point, or I don't know, Jay Tust versus John Mallory might get us our best ratings ever if we could get some sort of matchup at some point. But I do want to mostly talk basketball now that we've spent 13 minutes talking football. But I think we should mention Jeff Tedford stepping down as the head coach at Fresno State. We just talked to him 4 or 5 days ago at Media Days, and I asked him a question about his health, and he, now listening back to it, makes a little more sense. He just said there's stuff you got to keep monitoring and keep checking on, and he said you just get to a point where it's, there's just too much other stuff to worry about. And even told me and Mike, like, everyone should be focused on your health, even you guys. And he said he loves the kids, loves the game, but there is a time where it's just time. And that ended up being 4 days later that he steps down. So one of the best coaches out there, obviously had Boise State's number a little bit on the blue, at least in the championship games where they won a couple here. And, was the along with him and Troy Calhoun, kind of the two veteran older coaches still remaining in this league. And you hope everything is okay and continues to be okay with his health. But tough blow for Fresno to lose him, 2 weeks before training camp.
Yeah, I would argue. I mean, it was funny. Jeff kind of brought this up. I would say tongue in cheek, but not really. That since he's been head coach at Fresno State, man, that series between the Bulldogs and Broncos is darn near even, if not even tipped a little bit in the favor of the Bulldogs, because they did win. Not one but two games up here on the blue, and it really mattered. So great coach. The Mountain West is better when he's in it. Unfortunately, he won't be. And now all of a sudden, within the month that fall camp kicks off, you have two teams that are now basically replacing their head coaches in Utah State and Fresno State. Fresno State, I'm gonna guess is probably had this kind of plan in the works just in case. And heck, they even had like the interim thing going last spring when Jeff had to step away initially. So, kind of unfortunate there. The Mountain West would be better with Jeff Tedford in it, no doubt about it. And a great dude. Love talking with him down at Mountain West Media Days. And I'll miss him for sure down there next year.
Yeah, going to be weird, man. And again, another coach where now Spencer Danielson just keeps moving up the list here. He's already like the fifth highest tenured coach in the Mountain West, and he's been here for 5 games.
Like, I was joking around. I think that was Frank over at New Mexico. I believe that's who we were talking about this with. And I was joking around with him, but I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. He's been the head coach for what? 6 months now, and he is one of the longest tenured coaches in the conference.
I think there's only 4 coaches that have been here like more than that. This is not their first full. If you don't count the interim tag on Spencer, there was 4 coaches that like are going into more than their first year.
Yeah,
and Spencer's that 5th one because you have maybe it's 3 now, and he's 4th because
obviously Air Force.
There were 7 new coaches. That's counting Spencer. So there were 6. Plus now this is 7. Yeah, there were 4. Yeah, Timmy Chang, Calhoun, Jay Norvell, and Odom have all been there more than 1 year. And then the other, and then
Odom's barely been there for more than 1 year. That's wild.
Yeah. By the way, no Chris Marshall in the game. Any idea why that is?
Maybe he opted out. I will say this though. There is a roster with 85 people on it, right? And there are more than 85 Boise State football players.
Yeah.
So somebody double check me. I might be wrong on this, but I don't believe T. Crow is in the game.
Yeah, and he wanted to be in the game.
And he wanted to be in the game. Yeah. So I don't know if anything kind of happened there at the last second, but they only take 85. And so despite the fact there are more than 85 players on a roster, you could potentially get left out if you did opt into the game.
Which seems crazy to me because if there's 85 scholarship players and 85 spots.
Well, everybody you ask about scholarships, everybody you ask about scholarships these days say they don't matter anymore because of NIL and collectives. And
Boise State's got a 14th basketball player that I've still yet to find out how they're making that work. So
you're
right. You're right.
It doesn't necessarily matter. There's other ways to compensate a kid. So and they did. I mean, that's like find another guy on the roster. I don't care. Tyler Crow's a 6th-year senior. He will play a role on this team. He has played a role on this team. Really unfortunate that they left him out. On top of that, he probably could have had one of like the best, whatever you call the computer version of the player on the game with the mullet, tattoos. I mean, he's a character, man. They should have made him a character in the game.
All right, let's switch and talk some basketball. TBT team in town. First, Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors of premixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for that next game day tailgate. I saw our friend Melinda Draper posting that she had taken over her husband's beer fridge, and there was like 10 Cutwaters in there. So love to see it, Melinda. Thanks for supporting the sponsors. RoePaint.com, our title sponsor. ROEPaint.com, those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics is our title sponsor, RoePaint.com. ICCU.com, Tyson Degenhart Show, Episode 2. We're working on a huge guest, potentially as early as Thursday night. So stay tuned, ICCU.com, Thursday night, Episode 2 of the Tyson Degenhart Show. And again, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but that mobile e-branch online banking on your smartphone is the easiest. And so happy the Raines family made the switch. Check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Matt Boucher, saw him at practice last night for the TBT team. He's going to have his logo on the jerseys. He stepped up as a big major sponsor. So appreciate Matt Boucher. And again, bought a home from him or with him, sold a home with him. Process couldn't have been easier. So check out Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate, BoucherRealEstate.com. And of course, Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. 13, maybe it's now 14 locations around the state of Idaho. If you're heading up to McCall to go camping or hang out for the weekend, check out their McCall location. And again, they've got some others around the Treasure Valley, Magic Valley as well. We appreciate Ridley's Family Markets, and download that app and you get smartphone savings up to 40% off the checkout at shopridleys.com. All right, Jay, the TBT team is in town. They practiced for the first time last night. I'm going to play some footage kind of in the background while we talk about this. Was able to get out there, practice last night, and catch up with the guys. And I'll tell you what, here we started off with Justinian Jessup and James Reed making their way into the locker room here. And you see all the current players hanging out, the former players. Tyson Degenhardt here embracing with Justinian Jessup. Did they ever actually cross paths, or was he getting recruited when his final year? Or do they just know each other from before? I'm trying to think.
I think that he was coming in when Justinian was going out, I believe.
Tyson made some joke about how it's so easy to rebound for Justinian because you just stand there because they all go in the hoop. But there's Abu Kijab, Max Rice. By the way, this was kind of a moment, and this is cool, by the way. This is an updated thing they have for recruiting, I think, but it's basically a wall of fame type thing with a notable alumni, and you can go in there and it's interactive, and they're watching highlights of Abu Kijab right now. There's Derek Marks. There's Thomas Broplay. I thought this was pretty cool, but kind of a changing of the guard, Jay Tust. I had to let Max Rice in the building because he didn't have a key card anymore when I was standing there by the entrance to the
So you have a key card?
I don't. No. But somebody had already let me in. Nobody else was around. I was standing by the door, and Max Rice walked up, and he said he already threw away his key card. I'm like, you don't think they let you hang on to that? You know people around here. Come on. But Leon Rice had to bring the dogs up to practice, Jay. A long embrace here with Abu Kijab. There's Derek Thomas. But, yeah, you've been here covering this team longer than I have. I got in on the very end, of the Derek Marks era, the last, year or two of him. You got to just imagine what the emotions are for a guy like Leon Rice, watching a guy like his own son out there, going all the way back to a Derek Marks, Thomas Broplay, everybody in between. This is just, it's a really cool deal.
I agree. And if you go back to the Derek Marks days there, BJ, at the beginning of them, Max Rice wasn't even, he's in middle school at that point in time. And now he's, graduated from college, getting married, went to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. So, yeah, man, it's crazy how quick time goes. But, I think that is just long overdue as an event like this. Like, I don't even care if they were playing in TBT. I mean, I'm glad that they are, but just getting all these guys back in a room together and just kind of showing you how special this ride has been. And, going and grabbing a guy like Abu Kijab from Oregon who didn't do much there, and he became a Boise State legend, one of the best all time to ever, rock a blue and orange basketball jersey. So just getting
Derek
all
Marks
these guys
can still play, by the way.
Cool. Oh, I guarantee he can. Why wouldn't he?
Makes like six. He makes like 6 in a row here. Lexus Williams finally gave up and stopped trying to guard him. But I mean, he's just so smooth too. I mean, you watch him
He's
here.
been a pro for 10 years, man.
I mean, you watch him here and just the handles he has, the ability to pull up, the step back. I mean, it was. He's still got it. Justinian Jessup still has it. I mean, it was watching these guys out there. It was. If you're, like you said, it's cool. It's a celebration. The game tomorrow night at Borah. We announced it on yesterday's show, Jay, but BNN is going to have some sort of live stream of this event. We're excited for that. It ain't going to be a, professional by any means broadcast, but we'll have a little webcam, and Johnny and I, and then Tyson Degenhardt are going to be a part of the broadcast. We'll get some interviews with some of these guys, and at least for those out of town, you'll have some sort of, webcam live stream to see some of this. But to see a 3-point contest, Jay, with a Derek Marks, a Justinian Jessup, a Max Rice, some of these shooters they've got on this team. A dunk contest with Najee Smith and some of these guys. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool. And as you said, it needs to happen every year, whether it's TBT or not. Get an alumni game back in town. Make it happen. I know there's some compliance issues with trying to have them be able to scrimmage the current team, which was originally the plan. They're actually doing that today in private, Jay, where the current team will get a chance to play against them as a practice for the TBT team. But that's how I think you get the most fans. What do you think you could get in Extra Mile Arena, Jay? if you had the current team scrimmage the former team, and you could go do it in Extra Mile Arena, could you get 4,000 or 5,000 maybe in the middle of the summer to see all the newcomers and stuff?
I think we'll kind of figure out tomorrow. I would like to hope so. But we'll figure out tomorrow. But what if you are streaming it? I mean, they sold it out?
No, they did not sell it out yet. But we kind of had that as the plan all along. We just didn't want to deter people from not coming. The ticket sales are going well, but they do have seats available. You can come at the door for $10. But there has been a lot of interest from even just players' families not living in town, from fans living out of town that just wanted some way to watch this. And so we'll have for sure one kind of, what do they call it, Jay? The high mid camera, that you would have if you're watching it on TV behind, at center court, and then ideally a secondary one closer to the court. But it will not be as if you're watching a game on 24/7 by any means. But we'll at least have some sort of feed. And I think the bigger part will just be the commentary and then getting a lot of these guys for interviews. But James Reed, he's out there coaching, Jay. They went through they had a full practice plan. And Max Teams, the GA, looked at me and said, "This is longer than our practices are." I mean, he had a full thing, and I thought this was cool. Alvaro Cardenas, Jay, the current point guard, he is from Spain, and his hometown in Spain is where Thomas Broplay played for two seasons. And Thomas Broplay is kind of a legendary player in Spain while Cardenas was growing up, and they got to know each other a little bit. And then, Cardenas actually talked to Broplay multiple times, and Broplay kind of helped, get him to come to Boise State. So now they're meeting up here, and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Thomas Brokeplay's had a really good professional career. Like, I don't know if he necessarily gets the hype of some of these guys, but he has had a really, really good professional career playing in a really elite league overseas. So that's really, really cool. And did I see Tigo out there, man?
So Montego, so a couple of things here. There's Cade Rice. Cade Rice is not on the team. They needed a couple practice bodies for the practice. So Cade Rice is out there practicing. He is not on the team. Cam Martin is practicing, but was not cleared for full contact. So Cam Martin cannot play in this game.
He looks great though. Like he does. I don't know if I'm not going to go into the medical stuff too much here, but I'll just say though that he looks awesome, man. Like in terms of his recovery process, and I don't know if fans have seen him shoot. Maybe he will in these highlights here at some point, but his shooting motion is night and day different now than when he was playing as a member of the Boise State basketball team due to that shoulder. It's crazy how different it looks. I can say this now that he's back to his old ways. His shot last year was pretty darn ugly.
Hard to watch.
It was because he was hurt, and now you watch and you're like, oh man, if that was the guy.
They got like 30% of what they thought they were getting with Cam Martin.
Yeah, and none of it was shooting, and a lot of it was supposed to be shooting. It's but awesome to see he's on the way back. Sorry, I don't mean to.
No, it's okay. They also lost Derek Alston Jr. He signed a professional contract, and they would not let him do this as part of that. So he was out. And Riley Abercrombie, a player that played here for a year or two, was going to be a fill-in since they were short, and then he signed a contract and had to leave as well. And then Lucas Milner and Kevin Allen was supposed to be the big at one point. Both those guys signed contracts. So they did add a couple guys to the roster. They added Cam Aluiton, who played 1 year at Boise State as kind of a backup player, didn't get a lot, went on to Southern Utah and had a decent career. And he's actually playing overseas right now professionally, Cam Aluiton. So he was added. And then they added one non-Boise State player, and his name is Nick Lynch. He's a 6'11", 250 center that played at Lehigh and then played at San Diego and had a connection with one of the agents. But they're very guard heavy, and they had to have a big, and no Boise State bigs that they thought would help them were really available. I will say they did add, and this is kind of funny, Zach Haney is being added to the roster, but he lives in Houston, and so he is just meeting the team in Houston. He is just going to be a reserve big, probably won't play a lot, but in case they get into foul trouble or whatever, he's just another body on the team. So Zach Haney is going to be joining the team down there in Houston. Just didn't make sense for him to fly all the way up here for 2 days and fly right back to Houston. But Nick Lynch is the one non-player, but he can shoot. They're going to do some pick and pop stuff. I saw him shoot at 6'11", 250. He can shoot, and he's playing overseas somewhere as well. So that's the one non-BSU guy on the roster is Nick Lynch. But overall, again, you look around, Jay, you've got Derek Marks, the number 3 all-time leading scorer in school history. You've got Justinian Jessup, the all-time leading three-point shooter and the Mountain West leader in three-point percentage. You go down the line, I mean, it is kind of a who's who of Boise State basketball. And I know that Chandler Hutchinson's, the Anthony Drimmicks, the James Webbs of the world were unable to do it this year. But, they're kind of laying the foundation, Jay. This is like, I still think it's light years better than the one they did a couple years ago. But if you talk to James Reed, which I know you have, they want to make this the cool thing to do again. And he's expecting next year a lot of even more prominent players fighting for spots on this roster.
Yeah, I really wanted to see DA, man. And these are good problems to have, everyone. Like, you have guys that are still chasing their professional dreams and signing contracts that are lucrative enough to obviously make sure that they want those guys healthy and not subjecting themselves to anything. So that's unfortunate, man. I don't know why. DA just felt like one that was going to be cool, because we're just bridging a bunch of eras here, and he was certainly part of that bridge in would be 18, 19, 20 for that matter.
All right.
But they still got a good team, and it's going to be exciting. And I think that the more and more they do this, you're going to see more guys that, are going to want to be on this roster, and they're going to see the excitement. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I thought one thing that was cool that, they did was get some of the old guys, whether it be Anthony Drimmick, Chandler Hutchison, to kind of help spark some of the excitement and give shout outs to the team. And
Ryan Watkins, I saw
on social media. Yeah. And so maybe one day they can see if they can get those guys to be a part of this thing. It would be awesome if it all worked out. Ryan Watkins was a part of the one last go around. It won't be this time. Great dude. Just a tenacious rebounder. And hopefully I hope they can run it back next year, BJ. I know they got to get through this year first, but to see that consistency, that this will be a regular thing, would be a really, really cool deal.
And they don't have any Western regionals this year. The goal, the hope is they really want to try to host a regional at Extra Mile Arena next year. And so they're using the game tomorrow night to hopefully show with the attendance and stuff, the TBT, like, hey, do this in Boise. I mean, they're having to go all the way to Houston, or they could have gone to Wichita. Those were the only two options. So that is the goal. Let's, pack the place and then try to get the regional in Boise next year. Here are the details: 3-point contest, dunk contest, full game, $10 tickets. You can get them at the door, but I would buy them online just to make sure you get them. It's going to be a lot of fun. They're working out the details. The current team will be involved in some capacity with the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. Hopefully they're trying to iron out some details there. And Jay, you know more about a lot of these guys than I do, but here's the roster of players that will be playing against them in the scrimmage tomorrow. You've got 5 players from the Boise area. I know Isaiah Wright and DeAndre Jones both getting to go back to Borah High School to play in the game. You've got some other players from town as well, but all guys that are playing overseas or have played overseas. This is the Washington Generals, so to speak, playing the Globetrotters, but they're hoping it's a competitive game. This is the group of local pros that'll be playing them in the full TBT game tomorrow. You're on mute, Jay.
Ha!
There you go.
Moga's had a great career overseas. Cool to see Delvion Jackson going to be in action too. He's had a college career that's taken him a number of different directions. Isaiah Wright had a great college career. Same with DeAndre Jones. Jones doesn't really get a ton of pub or credit, but he had an awesome career. I believe he might be Central Arkansas's career assists leader, and then he transferred over to St. Louis for his final year of eligibility. But yeah, I'm really going to enjoy seeing some of these guys back on the court for sure.
Yeah, I know Roberto Bergerson was involved in getting this to happen, but 2 guys from Borah, and then you've got, you said Lotto from Columbia High, Jackson was Centennial, Keyshawn Liggins from Middleton. So, and then there's some other guys they've brought in as well, but they're all professional players, either still playing or did play. And so, again, all gearing up for Friday. The game is at 2:00. This game is not one of the ones that was picked for national TV, but you can watch it for free online. Thetournament.com/watchtbt. Thetournament.com/watchtbt is where you can find out. And kind of fitting, Jay, on Friday, we're going to have Jeff Grammer on to talk about the New Mexico side of this and get the thoughts on some of their players. Richard Patino is also going to join us on Friday as we continue to kind of do our summer series of the Mountain West. And you and I can do a little more of almost a pregame show, I guess, on Friday's show talking about this. But all the battles they've had with New Mexico over the years, I assume that it wasn't just 3 versus 6. I do assume they tried to get some intriguing matchups in round 1, but pretty cool that they're playing the Enchantment, the New Mexico team here.
I got to say, I really like New Mexico's name and their logo. That thing's pretty cool. Boise State's looks great. Don't get me wrong, but I really do like New Mexico's. That's pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, it's one and done too. So I mean, they gotta go win a basketball game here in order to make sure that this thing lasts longer than an evening. It's the real deal. It's a lot of work, BJ. It seems to go through to not win a game. So a lot is on the line, and we'll see if they can get it done.
Well, again, it's going to be a lot of fun. And how about Brock Kimball says a small group of us in Houston will be there on Friday. I think I saw Nate Staley say he was going to head over as well. So that'll be cool on Friday afternoon. But if you're in the Boise area, come on out tomorrow night. Again, there's going to be food trucks. There's going to be a DJ. And then I guess they're putting 30 minutes on the clock, Jay, after the game is over, where kids can come down on the court and get pictures, autographs, talk with all these former players. So any of your kids that saw Justinian Jessup or Derek Marks or any of these guys play, or even yourself, come down and get a picture, get an autograph. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they want to make this thing as fan-friendly as possible. For $10, we can take a family of 5 for $50 to go see this and have a good time. It should be a lot of fun. And again, $10 tickets. They're available at the door, or you can get them online. I think the 3-point and the dunk contest might be more entertaining than the game, to be honest. But there's a movement out there, Jay, to get you on as a judge for the dunk contest. Would you be interested in that?
Who's making that movement?
Me.
Yeah, exactly.
James Reed asked me who I thought should be the judges for the dunk contest, and I did throw your name in the pot.
Considering I've never dunked a basketball before in my life, I don't see why that wouldn't be the perfect option for that.
I think Matt Boucher, Leon Rice, Tyson Degenhart, Jay Tust need to be your 4 judges of the dunk contest.
There's an odd man out there. It's definitely me, but why not?
Well, I know you'll be probably filming and reporting and doing things for this on Wednesday, but if there's a chance to have you sit down for the dunk contest, I think
is there an exact lineup in terms of times, BJ, that all this is supposed to go?
It's supposed to be going pretty close to 6 o'clock, maybe 6:05, 6:10, but pretty close. This is not one of those that says 6 and it starts at 7. It's supposed to be pretty close to 6 o'clock. I don't know if the 3-point contest or the dunk contest is first, but those will both obviously be first. And then you have the full game, which I would guess goes around 7. And then they're playing with TBT rules. So you're playing to a score, not a time, so to speak. And so, there is a time to begin with, I guess, and then it goes more to a score at the end of the game, because there is a game-winning shot with the Elam ending in every TBT game. So they are using the TBT rules here for this game. I don't know an exact timeline or details for you on that, but it is tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, Borah High School. Again, if you're in town, it's worth the $10. Like I said, food trucks, music. There's going to be, like I said, chance to get autographs after the game. If you're not in the area, Jay, folks can still just donate directly to their GoFundMe account. The link is right here on the screen. Matt Boucher, shout out Matt Boucher, Boucher Real Estate. He stepped up in a big way to help make this happen. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you, Jay. Somebody, they need some help, and Matt Boucher's going to step up and make it happen. His logo will be on the jerseys. They have a special jersey they're wearing tomorrow for the scrimmage, Jay. That's not the jersey they'll be wearing on Friday, but both different jerseys do have Matt Boucher's logo on there, and he stepped up in a big way. I saw him yesterday at the practice. So cool to see our sponsor, Matt Boucher, stepping up. But going to be a lot of fun, Jay. I'm looking forward to it. And if you're a Boise State basketball fan, you need to be out there tomorrow night.
Agreed. I'll be out there.
All right. Looking forward to that, Jay. I interviewed Tim Miles, Jay, so I'm going to get to that in a second. I'll let you roll.
Okay.
But we are doing our Mountain West basketball series here, talking about coaches, teams in the Mountain West as part of our Lindy's Magazine feature. I guess we started it yesterday. You weren't on. Final thing for you, Jay, just big picture, Mountain West basketball this year, Boise State basketball. I think I'm going to have probably Boise State picked to win the league. I think if you look at the rosters, I think New Mexico has a strong case as well, bringing back Dent and Nelly Jr. Joseph, and they have Mustafa Amzil. They have True Washington back, 2 key guys as well. Utah State did keep Fazlov and Martinez and their center, the big guy as well. Nevada has kept some guys. They did lose Blackshear and Lucas, but they kept Davidson and some of their key guys and did pretty well in the portal. A lot of people sleeping on San Diego State, but when I talked to Brian Dutcher, he's like, let them sleep all they want. We're going to be really good this year. He's very confident in his roster, and a lot of his younger freshmen that either redshirted or incoming thinks are going to be a lot better than people think. They added a couple players in the portal as well. I mean, the league overall probably is going to be down a little bit. I mean, I think it has to be, Jay, when you have 6 teams in the tournament last year. But overall, I guess, just as we kick off this series talking Mountain West basketball for the next 2 weeks with a different coach every day. Again, yesterday we did start it off with Sundance Wicks at Wyoming. But just your big picture look at the league here.
I think that I hate saying the league's going to be a little bit down because I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a better way to kind of to sum that up. What I will say, which I think makes sense, is that we're now removing ourselves, thank God, in a way, from the COVID era, which means, a lot of these teams were super experienced last year. I'll point out like a Max Rice or something like that, right? In a year or two, this is probably the final year where a guy could get that additional year of eligibility due to COVID. And so we're just going to see some of that experience now start to drop off just a little bit. And, there were a couple of guys in this league last year that were really, really good. I believe Jared Lucas at Nevada was one of them that got that additional year of eligibility. So they had some experience in the league last year that was very, very unique and made these teams really, really good. They were difference makers. And so we're going to see that drop off a little bit. Therefore, maybe the league drops off a little bit, but I don't know. I think everybody else is going to go through the same thing across college basketball, right? So it's all going to be a bit of a wash when all is said and done. So that's why I don't like saying the league's going to drop off. It's just going to be a little bit different moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Jay, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Tim Miles coming up. But first, I want to tell you about a couple of our sponsors. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Their anniversary sale is going on. Do what the Raines family did. Go online, research it. Look at all their vehicles on lithiafordboise.com. The full inventory is on there. And then when you go into test drive, you already know which ones you want. It's a much faster, easier process. Again, Lithia Ford Boise. Online, lithiafordboise.com, and make sure you use them for your next car or truck purchase. You will not be disappointed. The Blue and Orange store, they got all your Boise State gear. You won't be disappointed when you walk in there. The Ashton Genty, Heisman shirt, all the different stuff they got going on in there. Jerseys, shirts, caps, the new uniforms, they're all there at the blueandorangestore.com. If you're in Boise, just go to the second floor next to the Boise Town Square Mall, and you'll next to the Pro Image store at the Boise Town Square Mall, the Blue and Orange store, and the blueandorangestore.com. And thanks to Travis Hawks and them for helping bring Mike Prater on board and have Mike Prater writing columns, which is the one you can read at BroncoNationNews.com. So return the favor. Go check out the Blue and Orange store. Taco Bell's hiring. You get half your wages the next day after your shift. You get free food. My kids just love the cheesy roll-ups, all the great food there at Taco Bell. And I think we might be single-handedly keeping them in business with how many times a week we go to Taco Bell. So love Taco Bell, love SON Management Group, love the Nicolason family. And again, they're hiring, but if you're looking for a job, highly recommend Taco Bell. But they do a lot for the local community as well. And have donated and committed hundreds of thousands of dollars to the student-athlete scholarships. The men's and women's basketball players that you're seeing out there at Boise State, their scholarships are funded largely by the SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. So return the favor and hit up Taco Bell for your next meal. And we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News. If you need a job, TCS, Transportation Compliance Services, hiring as well. Maybe you haven't thought about the trucking industry, but it's a great industry right now. It's booming, coming off the pandemic a couple years ago right now. So transcomservice.com, all the permits, all the things you need. Check them out, transcomservice.com. Lean Feast, you need some healthy eating, and man, I do. Leanfeastmeridian.com, all the combinations they have of steak, chicken, shrimp, fish, turkey, you name it, 10,000 combinations. And again, this is not your typical, frozen meal that you can't customize or comes frozen once a week. No, this is fully customizable, fully fresh, and 2 minutes in the microwave. It's refrigerated, and then 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're eating just delicious food. So if you're at work and you need an easy meal, a filling meal, you choose the amount. You can go 4, 6, 8, 10 ounces of protein. You add your other stuff, so it's filling and it's delicious. I highly recommend it, especially for folks that work in an office and don't have time for lunch or don't want to make their lunch. You just pop in a Lean Feast and you're good to go. So they just added Ahmed Hassanin to their roster of NIL deals, and Prater and I will be out there doing a show in the next couple of weeks. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. And of course, Circa Resort and Casino, the contest they got going on. We're barely a month away. We're going down to Vegas in August for contest weekend. I know Connor Johnstone's going down with us, Jake Forsyth. We got the Draper family going down. If you're interested in going down, hanging out for Vegas at Circa for a weekend, getting some open bar events at the pool, all kinds of events for folks that sign up for the contest. It's $1,000 a contest, but you get a couple buddies. It's like $333 if you split it 3 ways. It's not bad at all. And again, it's $10 million guaranteed to the winner of Survivor. It's $6 million guaranteed for Circa Millions. You have to sign up in Vegas, but you can play from anywhere. So it is 100% legal using our proxy, Tom Carroll, VegasFootballProxy.com. All you do is sign up with him. It's a small fee on the side, and then they go in and make your picks each week. You tell them the picks, they go in and make them. It's 100% legal. Thousands around the United States do it this way. So Tom Carroll is our proxy, VegasFootballProxy.com. Reach out to me for more information, Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. I'll tell you about the weekend at Circa. The weekend, it's week 0, so there's some college football on you can bet on and watch. Love to hang out with some of the listeners and fans, and it'd be a lot of fun. And again, you get discounts on the hotel and then a lot of free open bar food events. Anyone that comes down, I've already said I'll buy you a steak dinner at Barry's on the bottom floor of Circa. We're going to have a big BNN steak dinner. Anyone that comes down and signs up for a contest, steak dinner is on me, which, is a nice chunk of your $1,000 you're getting back right there on an awesome dinner at Circa and Barry's. So check them out. Would love to have you join us for the football contest. There's no rake. All the money goes into the pot. Derek Stevens has done it again, and we're super excited about this. Hope you'll join us. And again, Circa Sports, Circa Resort and Casino, big sponsor of ours at Bronco Nation News. All right, continuing along, Bronco Nation News. As I've been saying, I'm doing the Lindy's Magazine Mountain West previews this year, and so thought, hey, let's try to double dip here and get some summer basketball coverage for the Mountain West on Bronco Nation News. So always one of our favorite guests to catch up with, the head coach at San Jose State. Tim Miles joins us here on Bronco Nation News. Tim, appreciate your time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Loving the summer and excited to be on your show, BJ.
Yeah, appreciate it. We enjoyed catching up with you down at Media Days, and always enjoy the matchups with San Jose State and Boise State. And your team, obviously 2 years ago, heck of a year. You go 10-8. You're the conference, Mountain West Coach of the Year. And then obviously last year was a little bit of a struggle for you guys, as you know. Just give us kind of the big picture synopsis, I guess, of what went wrong last year and where you guys are at, and trying to get back to where you were 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was the favorite coach of the year last year. They loved playing me because they could kick our butts. I think what happened, if you go back, we certainly lose Amari Moore, Mountain West Player of the Year, more importantly than the coach guy. He was big, but we lost a whole bunch of front line, and quite frankly, we just weren't prepared NIL wise to compete in the marketplace, and I think that hurt us. Then, Rob Baihola, who was projected to be our starting center, we're out for the year in October with foot surgery. And then we lost some other guys kind of throughout the year. And pretty soon you don't have enough. And this league is a very good league. 6 teams in the NCAA tournament. So, when you're a place like San Jose State, your margin of error is very slim, very small. As you know, over the years, historically, not a competitive program. And that's what we're trying to do, is get it competitive every night out so we can have those 20-win seasons, not just in 1981 and 2023, but let's do it way more often. And that's what we're trying to do.
And obviously having to rebuild the roster. I mean, you had a couple of guys, at least, one key senior that you knew you were going to lose, but then to lose a couple in the transfer portal. I don't know if you were anticipating, losing Amy or Cardenas, but you've had to rebuild this roster. And I guess that's just the state of college basketball, maybe in the Mountain West as well, where you're going to just be doing 1 year at a time, completely new rosters every year. But what was the process, I guess, in terms of what you were expecting to lose, what you lost, and what you had to go out and find?
Yeah, I think that I didn't expect to lose everybody. It didn't surprise me, disappointed me to lose, the starting 3 guys. But that's the way it is nowadays. You just never know how that's going to go. I kind of look at it, and Boise, I believe, has an old CBA team, right? I don't know if, I forget Clay Mosier was their coach, my old friend Clay Mosier. And it's like minor league basketball nowadays, Yep. You're going to have 6, 7 new guys. You're only going to carry maybe a couple guys over. That's the way it's going to be for us. Now, obviously, the more returners you have, the better off you're going to be. You want to keep that. But at the same time, if you don't have the competitive dollars in NIL, you're going to be doing this over and over and over. I think that's the one thing. I was talking with my friend Craig Smith, right, who's with me for a long time, who's the head coach at Utah, and he was at Utah State previously for Mountain West fans. But, we were NEI coaches. And you learn, one, like you only have 3 scholarships over 12 or 13 guys. So one guy gets $500, some guy gets $2,000. You kind of learn how to divvy that out and evaluate in a different way. We're kind of doing that whole thing right now, and having 6 head coaching jobs, they're all restarts, and they're usually in need of care when I take over. So we're used to doing this. So I think we've got the experience to do it, and we're excited to do it. But 9 new guys is a lot. BJ, I'll tell you, last week I saw a guy walking down campus. He wore a Spartan basketball shirt, and I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" I didn't even recognize one of our kids. I'm like, I thought he was taller, but it was just one of those moments that I think that basketball in our day and age, we're going to have more moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, even Boise State's dealing with that. They didn't expect to lose. Some folks they did, and they're rebuilding it's just the way it is right now. But and you're talking about the Idaho Stampede, who are no longer in Boise. Unfortunately, they moved to Salt Lake City area, but that was always fun to watch some G League basketball, I guess, in Boise. But okay, so 4 scholarship players. We were going through this together. Every team's doing this, but 4 scholarship players back, I believe. I want to talk about some of your newcomers because I know you're really excited about those, including some from the Mountain West. But your 4 returners, could you maybe touch on those guys, or at least your 2 key contributors from last year, and what you're hoping to be able to build around and get from them?
Yeah, I think, it starts on your front line with Rob Viola. I think Rob's got a possibility of being a guy that can average double-figure points and rebounds in the Mountain West. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league 2 years ago. I think, he's not a shot blocker by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a physical, intense, very smart player. Rob spent a lot of the year trying to coach our younger guys up, and he's a very crafty player that way. Adrame Zhang, before he got hurt, really made an impact in block shots in that other category that Rob doesn't provide. And I think that we need that. And
he's got to stop fouling, though, Coach. He's got to stop fouling. 6 foul outs, right?
Yeah, well, I think that was a lack of strength too, BJ, right? I think that, that what I told him at the end of the year is like, your number one thing has to be core strength and strength, because I think that honestly, like he felt, a little intimidated, a little guys coming at him so physically strong that you've got to be able to compete and hold your own in there so you don't foul. And I think that's a weight room issue. It's not anything else but, and then that leads to your discipline and everything else that goes with fouling after that. Your knowledge as a player, I think that's improving for him. But no doubt about it, you got to keep him in the game. But that's why I have 3 centers now too, not just 1. But I think that he's an important guy. Pasha Gadravi is an elite shooter that redshirted last year, local kid here from Valley Christian. And then Latrell Davis, who I think kind of reminds me of what Myron Amy Jr. did 2 years ago, made an impact in league games, started to establish himself, was effective, especially good in transition. And I think he's going to, continue to propel and step forward and get better.
Uh-oh. There you are. Lost it for a second.
Hey, okay, wait, hang on. So I need to put it on do not disturb maybe?
Whatever works. You're okay, Coach. We're halfway through already. We can just take our chances.
Yeah, some guy called me. Okay, there we go.
No worries. You were talking about Latrell Davis.
Yeah. I think what Latrell Davis brings, if you look at that last guard position for returners, he's a nightmare in transition. And he reminds me of Myron Amy Jr. Like the impact MJ had 2 years ago. He was productive in Mountain West games. And then that led to future success when he was healthy this year. And I think Latrell, you're going to see that same trend of him just getting better and better.
So I know you just needed bodies. You had to fill a roster. So you're kind of looking, across the board. But was it, what were you kind of looking for in terms of what you needed, whether it's experience or shooting or rebounding or toughness or all the above, I guess. You'll take the perfect player. But I mean, what were you looking for something specific or guys that fit your system, your program? And how did you kind of attack the transfer portal and the 9 newcomers you got?
Yeah, I think you checked all the boxes, right? The things the coach looks for. And one was, we signed 3 guys early that were freshmen, Ben Rosenborough, Jermaine Washington, and Cameron Patterson. And I like all of their abilities. And Ben Rosenborough's physically ready. Maybe Jermaine Washington is too. Cam Patterson's got some work to do. But those are guys we had, in there. And they were, let's face it, late, I was looking for experience. I think the average age is over 22 years old of the 5 guys we signed late. And we needed that. So we looked for, first thing I looked for was help on the front line, our ability to defend, rebound the basketball. You can't win till you eliminate losing, right? And defense and rebounding really are your steadfast factors that way. So I thought that we did a good job. A guy, Sada Nagana, is a guy that was at Boise as a forward. Day Hall, who a very productive WAC player, all WAC player. Charles Mariel, 7'2" guy from Oregon State and Maryland, high-level shot blocker again, are all guys that we felt like we needed to bring in. And then Josh Oduzzi, the Mountain West, he's the co-6 man of the year, is a guy that was a scorer at Coastal Carolina, and then a key role player for Utah State's championship team. And I think I'm going to put him in a position where he can make a bigger impact too. Will McClendon, transfer from UCLA, had a storied high school career, did really, really well. And we're excited, to get him in a position where he can be more of a feature guy too.
And then Donovan Yap, right? You go back to the Mountain West at Fresno State. You got 3 guys, I think, or I guess 4 if you count Sada, that were once at Mountain West schools on your roster here. So it's the way it is now with being familiar with guys and seeing them and knowing what they can do. And I mean, Boise's got a couple. I mean, every team we got guys in their 3rd Mountain West school, I think, in some cases. I mean, it's just the way it is right now. It never used to be the case, but now it's kind of commonplace.
Yeah, Donovan is that same way. He was at UNLV, Fresno, and now us. And Donovan is a guy that we couldn't stop. He got 15 points. I couldn't find a matchup for him. And so I'm like, well, let's take him, man. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. So I'm really excited about Donovan coming in too. And of course, you don't like to have all the newcomers and know, okay, where's our production at? But I think the experience these guys have at the collegiate level is the key part. It's not guys that haven't competed at the 4-year level, and they have competed in the Mountain West. So I think we know what we're getting, and I think that helps too.
I know you're getting going with the summer workouts and things like that, and obviously we're still several months from playing games here. But and every coach, I'm sure at this point, likes their team in the summer. I mean, if they don't, that's obviously not a good thing. But you went 2-16 last year. People are going to be sleeping on you. They're not going to pick you probably very high in the league again this year. I mean, do you feel like you think your team's going to be going to be better than maybe folks are going to give you credit for?
We're better. There's no doubt about it. I would expect a significant step forward. How much better really kind of depends on the same old things, how healthy you stay. I think the acclimation to the system won't be as big a deal with these experienced guys. It's not like we're depending on a lot of young players like we did actually last year. So I think it'll be all right. I don't like losing those core players that you have in your program for 3 years at a time. At the same time, the guys we've got coming in, some of these guys played high school basketball together. Some of these guys played in the same AAU program. So there's a level of chemistry that is not the same as just a normal recruiting class. I think we've got some real synergy with that, and I'm excited to get them on the floor.
Yeah, you hate losing them, and then at least in one case, you got to play them twice a year, 2 more times this year. I mean, it's just the way it goes, I guess, unfortunately. But this league, and I guess final thing for you, Coach, this league, I mean, I know everybody's got new rosters, and I know you haven't studied all the other teams and all this. There's transfers. I mean, heck, they're still adding and subtracting players at this point. But just in general, with the success of the league last year and all those, teams building, and you keep a lot of these coaches in the league this year that they are building off what they did at, places like New Mexico and Colorado State and Boise and Nevada and, San Diego State with what they did. I mean, you expect more of the same this year? There's going to be not very many, easy nights in the Mountain West this year.
Yeah, the league, this is the second time I've been in the league, right? I was at Colorado State from 2007 and 2012. And if people remember back then, just as Boise was coming into the league, right, we were putting 4 and 5 teams in the NCAA tournament in 11, 12, 13, right? And so when I left that league, I thought it was a high major league, and went to the Big Ten in Nebraska. And then when I came back, I thought there was probably a correction in there where it wasn't as strong for a couple of years. But as we came back and, Alford came back and it's like the old Big Ten coaches, right? Dutcher was a Big Ten guy. I was a Big Ten guy. Alford was a Big Ten guy. Patino was a Big Ten guy. Nico was with me at Colorado State. So it's a well-coached league, I think. And it's a bunch of guys that have put programs together at high levels, and they're going to continue to do that. And now, it's the fundraising too. You've got to compete in the marketplace with NIL collectives, and we need to do a better job there because we're not up to speed. We improved our situation from where we were a year ago, but we've got to continue to move forward in that space too. And great league. I expect a lot of winning. Fans will be great. They'll love Alvaro Cardenas is just a great kid. The Bronco fans are going to love having him there. I'm pulling for him, except for those 2 times a year or 3 times a year, like you said. But at the same time, Mountain West is going to be as strong as ever.
I was going to wait till media days to ask you about him coming over to Boise. I know that's got to be, like I said, I know it happens and it's just going to become more and more commonplace, but that's got to be, you're being nice publicly, but that's got to be tough to recruit a guy, have him for all that time, then not only lose him before his senior year, but to go to a rival in the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of those guys that didn't have a Division I offer except for us, and to lose those guys and that, it's disappointing. But at the same time, you want the best for the young guy. You want to support him. I think the maturity in the room and the level of leadership that you try and provide means that you want to wish them well and you want them to do well.
Oh, that's nice of you to say, Tim. We appreciate your time. Looking forward to following San Jose State. And I agree on paper. I mean, a lot of these names are very intriguing names on paper in terms of who you've added. So it should be an exciting season. Looking forward to it. Best of luck with all the summer workouts and things. And we'll see you down probably in Las Vegas in October for media days.
Thanks, BJ. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, there he is, Tim Miles. Appreciate him for jumping on. Tim Miles, head coach at San Jose State. Make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. We would really love for you to help us out. We're approaching 5,000 YouTube subscribers. We're about 130 away. So if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on X, if you're on YouTube but not already a subscriber, please take 2 seconds. youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 5,000 YouTube subscribers, and that would be awesome. And again, we are looking forward to the football season and all the coverage we're going to provide, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night's TBT basketball game as well. So if you are able to subscribe and help us out, $50 for a full year, BroncoNationNews.com, BNN 50 deal, that promo code at the bottom of the screen, you get $20 off your first year. We'd love to have you help us out. BSU Bill says, another very likable Mountain West coach. Love Tim Miles. Only a matter of time before a flailing power school picks him up as their next head coach. Yeah, a lot of good coaches in this league. We may do Boise State tomorrow. I'm trying to think. I've got Leon Rice ready to go. Maybe we'll do Nevada tomorrow. I'm supposed to interview Steve Alford here in about an hour. We've got Utah State, Fresno State already recorded as well. We're going to do New Mexico on Friday with Richard Pitino. So hope you're enjoying it. I see a couple of you just tuned out and left, and that's okay. You don't care about San Jose State basketball, but I think that on this show we want to try to dive into to the Boise State, but also to their opponents and stuff as well, so you can have a little idea when you play them what's going on, and expand this channel a little bit to do a little more Mountain West basketball and football, and not just 100% only talking Boise State. So I thought this would be a fun summer series to mix in 10-minute interview with some of the opposing coaches in the league and kind of get the outlook for them as we head into the season here, and especially with this extra week or two before football gets going. I thought it made some sense. Ask Alfred about Kobe Sanders' sneaky big time portal pickup. I will. Yeah, I got a whole list of questions for Coach Alford. Looking forward to that. So again, tomorrow night, the TBT game, we will be live around 6:00 with a live stream. Don't expect much in terms of the live stream. I'm trying to, I'm hoping I can under promise and over, produce, but it's not going to be much. It's going to be 1, maybe 2 cameras, very basic live stream, but we should at least have good audio and can have some interviews and kind of tell you what's going on. It's going to be fun. 6:00 on the BNN YouTube channel. And I'm thinking about making that for YouTube subscribers only. So if you want to watch tomorrow at 6:00, if you're not in the Boise area, make sure you subscribe to the BNN YouTube channel, and that may become a YouTube exclusive broadcast tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. So back to the Lindy's work for me. As I told you at the beginning, I've got like 32 Lindy's stories that I'm doing. I've done about 10 of them. So I'm supposed to talk to Hunter Dickinson, KJ Adams from Kansas this afternoon. I'm working on a feature on the Kansas front court. I've already written a Tyson Degenhart feature and we'll be, I guess I haven't turned it in yet, but Tyson Degenhart's going to be one of the top 25 players, I believe, in Lindy's going into the season. I wrote a feature on him. I'm doing all the Big 12, all the Mountain West teams. I'm doing the women's top 25. So hopefully you'll go support and pick up Lindy's magazine in the fall for basketball. But that's kind of what my focus is this week and next week is college basketball, and Lindy's getting all that done. I just thought it made sense to play some of those interviews on the show as well and talk Mountain West basketball. So appreciate all you guys for checking us out. I hope you have a great rest of your day. John Mallory and I tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then John Mallory will be on the call. Tyson Degenhart through an NIL deal. Tyson Degenhart will be one of the commentators tomorrow night. Looking forward to having him on the call as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You never know what shenanigans will happen, who will stop by. Really excited about tomorrow night's broadcast at 6 o'clock. So go tell your friends. Go subscribe on YouTube if you can. Appreciate you for checking us out. And again, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock is the broadcast. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. will be John Mallory and I on BNN Live to kind of get you set. But again, $10 tickets, Borah High School, 6 p.m. Some of the greatest players in Boise State basketball history will be on display. Bring the family out. It's going to be a lot of fun, and can't wait for it. So thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We're presented by RowPaint.com, our title sponsor. Make sure you check them out, ROEPaint.com. All your painting needs, and there'd be no BNN without RowPaint.com. So thanks to RowPaint.com. Thanks to Cutwater Spirits for sponsoring our studio. From the Cutwater Studios, this is BJ Rains. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.